Lon had gathered some information. There were 7 people involved. The middle-aged man was a doctor, and there were 2 nurses, while the remaining 4 were patients. However, the doctor and nurses were about to end their shifts, so they were in casual clothes. Although they were all from a gastroenterology hospital, they could still manage to treat fevers. They witnessed the power of the city and, recalling the guarantees just issued by the city, eagerly introduced themselves, hoping to be chosen. The few patients also showed despair, desperately pleading to be taken along by the city and Shenlong. However, the city was concerned that some of them might not be doctors or nurses and were pretending to deceive. So, it bluntly stated, "I am not a saint. I only want those who are useful to me. You 3, go find syringes and medication. I've already told you about the symptoms of my people. If you fail to treat them, or if any problems arise during the infusion, not only will I not fulfill the benefits I promised you, but I will also hold you accountable." The 3 doctors and nurses were overjoyed, but the patients' expressions twisted in fear. They dared not say anything, wary of the city's strength. Soon, they gathered the supplies and set off back to the underground garage with the city. However, the return journey was a bit troublesome as the city's vehicle was too small to fit everyone, forcing them to move slowly while the 3 of them followed behind. They trembled with fear, reluctant to step outside, but under repeated assurances from the city and Shenlong, they finally ventured out. The city had infrared thermal radar to avoid monsters, and the journey was surprisingly uneventful. The 3 doctors and nurses desperately followed, afraid to make too much noise. But when they reached the underground garage, a minor incident occurred. Just as they left, the entrance to the garage, which had been safe moments before, was now surrounded by 7 or 8 mutated creatures, drawn in for some unknown reason. A total of 9 mutated beings were present, with 7 visible, and 2 lurking in the shadows on either side. The city was slowing down, using the infrared thermal radar to clearly discern the positions of the creatures in the darkness. Their skulls were split open, eyes rolled back, moving like blind predators in the underground garage, roaring as they advanced, clearly attracted to something. This was a bit tricky. Although there were 5 of us, only you and I can truly fight. Do you have a plan? Shenlong spoke up, remaining calm compared to typical survivors. The city glanced back at the 3 nurses and doctors, who were pale with fear. If it weren't for the surrounding shadows filled with lurking creatures, they might have panicked and fled by now. For ordinary people, facing even one mutated creature was a daunting challenge. Their twisted bodies, cracked skulls, and bared fangs could cause immense psychological shock, and most people would be paralyzed with fear even if they could fight back. Although Shenlong was calm, it was evident that she was nervous about facing so many mutated beings with just a few people. The city smiled and said, "I have a plan. You get out of the car and take those 3 with you to hide. I'll deal with them." Shenlong was surprised. "Just you alone?" The city reassured her. "Don't worry, I won't be reckless." Shenlong glanced at Wang Cheng but didn't say anything more. She got out of the car decisively, leading the 3 doctors and nurses to hide behind a scrapped small truck next to the garage, nervously watching the scene. The 3 medical staff were also terrified, constantly asking what to do and whether they should run, but the next moment, they fell silent. Wang Cheng's actions astonished them. He actually drove the car straight at the creatures. Originally, Wang Cheng's vehicle was in silent mode, making no noise, and unless they got too close, the mutated beings wouldn't be able to detect him. But at this moment, he deliberately made noise, causing all 9 mutated beings at the garage entrance to turn around simultaneously, staring in Wang Cheng's direction. One of the hidden creatures in the corner was even knocked away by Wang Cheng's acceleration, crashing against the wall, blood and flesh splattering. Killed on the spot. The remaining 8 creatures howled and charged at him. One doctor was startled. Is Brother Wang trying to lure the mutated beings away? To let us in to save people? They knew that the high fever patient they needed to treat was inside the garage. Shenlong had a similar guess. She admired Wang Cheng a bit and felt envious of the bond between him and Su Xinghai that gave him the courage to take such a big risk. But unfortunately, they were all wrong. Wang Cheng had no intention of fleeing. 9 mutated beings? They were clearly 9 energy points. What Wang Cheng needed most right now were energy points. So he couldn't possibly let these creatures go. Sitting in the Wuling warship, Wang Cheng felt like he was in a turtle shell. There was no fear at all. The 8 mutated beings dispersed and charged from different positions, but they were at a distance, and one crashed into the car, but Wang Cheng's vehicle remained unmoved, its kinetic absorption armor rippling. He rolled down the window, stuck out a shotgun, and shot it in the head. Following the same method, the 8 mutated beings fell one after another, all perishing under Wang Cheng's gunfire. When the last 2 mutated beings charged together, it was inconvenient for Wang Cheng to shoot. So he adjusted the car's position, found the right angle, and without exception, took them down as well. The 3 doctors and nurses were dumbfounded. One doctor said in confusion, "Are these mutated creatures so weak? A car can withstand their attacks?" Shenlong was also surprised, never expecting Wang Cheng to operate like this. single-handedly using the vehicle's powerful defenses to take down all 9 mutated beings. She immediately recalled a scene from their escape from Haicheng University. Those dense mutated beetles were also something Wang Cheng could easily pass through. Those beetles could easily tear through a school bus. Yet they left almost no marks on Wang Cheng's vehicle. Don't misunderstand. It must be that Wang Cheng's car has been modified. Hearing the doctor's analysis, Qianlan broke into a cold sweat. Realizing this, she quickly reminded them, worried that the three would think the mutated beings were easy to deal with and try to emulate Wang Cheng, only to end up in danger. Just because others can do something easily doesn't mean you can too. The 9 mutated beings all fell to the ground. Wang Cheng also jumped out of the car, looking a bit excited as he waved over. Naturally, he was thrilled, especially since he had collected energy points in the hospital, bringing his total to a full 15. Wang Cheng had already begun to plan in his mind. Next, he wanted to upgrade a rifle and install it on his warship. This way, his warship would have a weapon system. Although it might still seem a bit makeshift, perhaps next time he wouldn't have to roll down the window to fire. That would be a significant improvement. However, the only thing worrying Wang Cheng was that he didn't have enough ammunition. Without bullets, having more guns would be pointless. They would just be heavy sticks. Of course, this wasn't the time to think about those things. Once the mutated beings were cleared, he quickly led the doctors and others into the underground parking garage. Upon entering the garage, Wang Cheng discovered that during their absence, unexpected events had occurred. The manager in the security room became restless, wanting to take advantage of Wang Cheng and the awakened Qianlan being away to seize Zhang Chao, Yi Qijing, and others and use them to threaten Wang Cheng and Qianlan. Driven by greed, he coveted the gun in Wang Cheng's possession. He believed that if he could take Wang Cheng's gun, he would be able to control the awakened Qianlan, and then all the benefits would be his. The manager even managed to recruit a survivor from the security room to act alongside him. Unfortunately, while the plan was appealing, reality was harsh. The manager took the first shot at Yi Qijing and his group, thinking they were outnumbered. However, while he was entangled with Yi Qijing and the others, Zhang Chao shot him in the back, killing him instantly. During this time, Zhang Chao had also hunted many mutated beings, honing his shooting skills, and at such close range, it was easy for him to take the shot. The manager never imagined that these 3 university students had more than one gun. He thought it was already lucky for them to have found a single gun, and with Wang Cheng going out to find the doctor, he assumed he must have taken all the good stuff with him. Little did he know that Zhang Chao also had a gun. The manager's dreams shattered in an instant. His greed had dug his own grave. Yi Qijing was also quite surprised, not expecting Zhang Chao to have a gun as well. The depth of resources that Wang Cheng and his group possessed greatly exceeded his expectations. This struggle attracted more mutated beings from outside. However, before those mutated beings could enter the underground garage, Wang Cheng eliminated them, which turned out to be a close call without any real danger. By the time Wang Cheng returned, everything had settled down. After the manager's death, the other survivors in the security room no longer dared to monopolize it and willingly vacated the space. Zhang Chao brought Su Xinghai into the security room to rest, anxiously waiting. The manager had been the epitome of greed. With his death, the atmosphere in the underground garage became more harmonious and relaxed. The 3 doctors and nurses Wang Cheng brought along were indeed real medical professionals, and they quickly started administering IVs and injections to Su Xinghai. Yi Qijing and the others cleaned up the bloodstains and the smell of blood, hoping to hide here for a while, waiting to meet with the military or police for official protection. The effect of intravenous injection was indeed stronger than that of medication, and Su Xinghai's condition finally stabilized. By the next morning, his temperature had returned to normal. The 3 doctors and nurses, fearing that they might be abandoned by this influential person or offend him in some way, were very diligent and stayed by Su Xinghai's side all night, treating him as their most important patient. By noon, Su Xinghai finally stirred and woke up, still feeling a bit groggy and confused, only able to ask for water. The 3 doctors and nurses were overjoyed and quickly called everyone over with excitement. Wang Cheng and Zhang Chao were the first to arrive, but as soon as they entered, they witnessed an astonishing scene. Su Xinghai, in a daze, took a sip of water but couldn't swallow it. Instead, he began to gag and ultimately spat it out. The speed at which he expelled the water was astonishing, creating a pit in the ground. Wang Cheng felt a stir in his heart. Could this be Su Xinghai's awakened superpower? Zhang Chao was stunned and blurted out, "Boss, have you awakened into a water arrow turtle?" Chapter 33. Wang Cheng, the 100-meter sprinter? Su Xinghai, still dazed, instinctively responded to Zhang Chao with a classic quote, "What water arrow turtle? I'm your father." Gradually, he became more alert, realizing what he had done and staring blankly at the pit on the ground. The pit was quite large, about 7 or 8 centimeters deep. Its power was not unlike that of a bullet. If it hit a person, especially an altered being, it would certainly leave a mark. On one side, Qianlan approached and couldn't help but laugh. Congratulations, he has passed through the gates of hell and become an awakened one. Is his ability to spit water arrows? Wang Qing hesitantly